Today is the day where we have two brand new molds available to you guys. You guys have seen these molds on the channel already, but now you're able to buy them. In today's video, I'm going to be featuring the brand new hover jig mold and the brand new Weedless compact finesse jig mold. These two molds are going to become staples for all the bass fishermen that make their own tackle. People other than bass fishermen are totally gonna be using these molds, but as a bass fisherman myself, I know that I'm gonna be making these some staple molds that I have in my tackle arsenal. We're gonna be diving into both of these molds in this video. I'm gonna tell you the different sizes, the different hooks to be using, and everything that these molds do, and then give you a few opinions on what I think I'll be doing with these jigs. If you guys decide you wanna go pick up these brand new molds, make sure to go over to the Do It Molds website using my affiliate link that I have in the description of this video. Just click to open up the description on this video and then click that link. That way Do It Molds knows that I sent you over there and I can get credit for any sales. So the first mold that I wanna talk to you guys about is the Weedless compact finesse jig mold. This mold is a 3-cavity mold, and it's gonna make jigs that are 1/4 ounce, 3/8, and 1/2 ounce. It's gonna use a Victory 10360, and the mold calls for a 2/0 hook in the 1/4 ounce, a 3/0 hook in the 3/8 ounce, and then a 4/0 hook in the 1/2 ounce. So I have had the opportunity to make a few jigs with this mold, and it pours very well, and the jig head comes out very complete almost all the time. This also has a great built-in soft plastic bait keeper, so you're not having to worry about any wire forms, and those bait keepers fill in easily almost every single time. The Victory 10360 hook that this jig is built around was an awesome choice. This hook is super sharp, it's a nice compact short profile, which is perfect for finesse jigs. I really like the hook that this thing is built around. You're gonna be able to fish it on casting gear because it's stout enough for that, but it's also sharp enough that if you need to downsize and use that little 1/4 ounce one on a spinning rod, you're gonna be able to do that because this hook is sharp enough that that lighter action spinning rod is still gonna be able to get that hook penetrated into the fish's mouth. So this Victory 10360 hook is a 60-degree hook eye, and the barb on it is also very pronounced as well. So once you get that barb into that fish, that barb's not coming back out. These fish are gonna get hooked and they're gonna stay hooked. This is a compact and small profile jig, so I think it's gonna be perfect for a lot of smallmouth and spotted bass situations. However, it's gonna be awesome for largemouth that are kind of finicky as well. There's a time and place where those largemouth or even the spotted bass or the smallmouth are always kind of biting the tail of your jig or of your jig trailer. And so sometimes downsizing that jig to that smaller, more compact finesse profile, they're gonna be able to get more of that jig into their mouth, and then that's gonna get that hook into their mouth when you go to set the hook. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been fishing a jig, dragging it around, and you get that short bite and you go to swing and it bit off one of the claws of your crawbait or bit off one of the tails of your double tail grub. But I think downsizing to the smaller profile is gonna solve some of those issues that we have on a normal, larger profile jig. The versatility of this jig is pretty awesome as well. You're gonna be able to flip it and pitch it, you're gonna be able to swim it, and you're gonna be able to drag it. So anytime you need to downsize to mimic those little tiny craws, those little tiny bait fish, but you need something with a little bit more of that stout hook where you can also, throw it into that heavy cover, use heavier line and get that jig out, but also that sharp, nice Victory hook is also gonna pair up for those spotted bass, those smallmouth situations where you're gonna be using a little bit lighter line, maybe a spinning reel. It's gonna be one of those jigs that you're gonna be able to use in a lot of different scenarios. So another brand new product that Do It came out with this year is the hybrid banded skirts. These hybrid banded skirts are pretty awesome. They've got a lot of awesome different colors. This is the molten craw color right here. This molten craw color has some orange, round rubber, and then green pumpkin silicone. These are very, very lifelike skirts. They have your shad patterns, your black and blues, your different color green pumpkins. They're your PB&J. They have all kinds of awesome skirts. These ones you might want to trim down for that finesse jig, but they're built for those traditional jigs, and all you gotta do is cut them down just a little bit to match up perfectly with this brand new Weedless compact finesse jig. Head over to the Do It Molds website through my affiliate link so that way they know that I sent you, and pick up this new mold and pick up these new skirts. Now let's dive into the brand new hover jig mold. This new hover jig mold won Best of Show over at ICAST. I had the opportunity to go to the ICAST with the Do It Molds crew this summer back in July, and this mold was put in the Best of Show category, and it won Best of Show in the tackle making category. It was an awesome opportunity for Do It to showcase this brand new jig. This new hover jig is going to be great for the forward-facing sonar, guys. It's not only a forward-facing sonar bait, but we'll get into that in a second. For the forward-facing sonar people, you're going to be able to cast this thing out, have whatever soft plastic you want rigged up on it, and it's going to be able to sink down. You're going to be able to watch that on your forward-facing sonar, and you're going to be able to bring it back to the boat and keep a nice horizontal, realistic profile on your bait coming back to the boat. That realistic horizontal profile is going to mimic the bait fish in the area perfectly. It's going to trigger those bass to bite, and you're going to have a nice Victory 10111 hook built around this jig. It's a nice thin light wire hook. It's gonna be great for those spinning rod scenarios. You're gonna be able to pull on that spinning rod, get this hook in that fish's mouth. It's got a good barb on it as well. It's gonna keep those hooks in the fish's mouth, keep them pinned up, and get them back to the boat. So this hover jig mold comes in a 6 cavity mold. You're gonna be able to make 6 different sizes of these hover jigs. You're gonna be able to make 1/16, 3/32, 1/8, 5/32, 3/16, and 1/4 ounce. The Victory 10111 hook that this jig is built around is also a light wire hook and super sharp. It's going to be perfect for when you're going to be using this hover jig on spinning tackle. Now, depending on the size of the hover jig that you're going to want to pour, you're going to need anywhere from the number 2 all the way up to a 4/0 Victory 10111 hook. You can play around with the sizes, usually go up one size, down one size. Now, if you don't have forward-facing sonar, you're fishing the bank, you can still definitely take advantage of this hover rig. It is still going to keep your bait nice and horizontal in the water, and when you're bringing that bait back to the boat, you're going to be able to get that lifelike look. It just helps these guys with the forward-facing sonar specifically target into an individual fish that they see on their electronics. But you can still fan cast this hover jig mold around and take advantage of the horizontal profile that it has in the water. Now, realistic profile, it's going to get those fish to come up and eat this bait. You're just going to want to target the points or little bends in your river, bends in your lake where these fish might get stacked up, and you're going to be able to cast it out and count it down and then bring it back nice and slow, giving it a little bit of action and keeping it nice and horizontal coming back to the boat. Another really good way to fish this is in shallow water situations where you need that nice little subtle land into the water so it doesn't spook some of these fish. You can cast this thing out there, blind cast. You don't have to have forward-facing sonar for it. Cast it out in those shallow water situations with that minnow bait. You could be mimicking bluegill with a green pumpkin one. You could be mimicking shad with a shad pattern. You cast that thing out there, let it sink down, and then you're just gonna be able to give it subtle little drags on the bottom, and it's gonna get those fish to bite. They're gonna think it's a little bait fish feeding on the bottom. Maybe it's a bait fish that's in distress, and it's going to trigger these fish to bite. So you don't have to have forward-facing sonar in order to take advantage of this hover jig mold. I really think these 2 brand new molds were awesome ones to add to the Dual Molds lineup. If you don't have these molds already and you haven't ordered it already, I highly suggest you head over to the Dual Molds website using my affiliate link and order both of them. They are going to be molds that you guys are going to get a lot of use out of. These molds, these jigs, they will catch you guys fish. In some future videos, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to make these baits, how to make these jigs, and how to fish them out on the water to have the most success. So guys, if you want to learn more about tackle making, make sure to click on the tackle making playlist that I have on the screen right now, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.